Hey guys, I haven't tested out a custom kernel in a while, so I thought I'd check out the Uber kernel for the Nexus 5. This kernel really does offer the most choice out of any kernel available. Heck, you can even choose a version by what toolchain it was built with if you like. I'm currently using the latest Saber mod version. I've been testing this over the weekend. I won't be able to go through all the settings and features of this kernel because, well, there are just too many. So I'll link the XDA thread in the description so you can read them in detail if you like. Yeah, let's check it out. Now this kernel does come with a script file so that you can change the settings of the kernel without having to use a third-party application. To do that, open a file explorer, head to the root directory, then you need to find the system folder, then the etc folder, and right at the bottom you should find the Uber CFG file. That's the file you can edit to actually change the settings of the kernel. So if we click it, we can open as text. We'll just open it in the ES Note Explorer. You can see here there are a ton of different settings, and I really do mean a ton. Every kernel option that you've probably come across in other kernels is probably in this kernel. That's how many options it has. It has a ton of different governors. It has underclocking options, overclocking options, GPU overclocks, sweep to wake, double tap to wake, pretty much everything, guys. So it's all right here. Now, of course, you can use a third-party application. I'm using Foe's kernel app, but you can use Franco's or Trickster. One of the things I wanted to highlight here is the minimum clock goes all the way down to 96 MHz. The default clock for the Nexus 5 is 300, so this should help you save some battery life when reading books or checking out forums or something like that. The maximum clock goes all the way up to 3 GHz, so you can overclock it if you'd like to. And as I mentioned before, there are loads of CPU governors, some with some crazy names like Dance Dance or Badass. There really is some weird names in here, but they are all here, so you have the choice if you'd like to. One of my favorites, and one that I actually use daily, is the Slim governor. It seems to keep the frequencies quite low most of the time, but it does ramp up when it needs to. You also have GPU overclocking, and that goes all the way up to 650 MHz. Now the default for the Nexus 5 is 450 MHz, so that is a decent overclock. And yeah, it should be able to eke a few more frames out of your games, but be aware it will add additional heat to your device, so you may get thermal throttling quicker. And we also have the beloved sweep to wake or double tap to wake options, but don't forget this will add additional battery drain to your device. And as I mentioned before, there are loads of other options that I don't have time to go through in this video, but that includes things like changing the screen gamma, setting the max screen off frequency, and also turning off CPU cores. Moving on to performance, this kernel is very smooth. I didn't see any slowdowns or stutters anywhere. The benchmark results were very impressive as well. Antutu shows over 40,000. The reason it's flashing red is because I didn't have an internet connection when I did this test, so I couldn't be verified. I should also mention that this test was done with the GPU overclocked to 650 MHz, but this score is right up there with the Galaxy Note 3, and it's only about 2,000 points less than the Galaxy S5, so it's a very impressive score here. If any of you guys are wondering, I am on a custom ROM. I'm using the Madi custom ROM, so it is possible that also has some tweaks, but coupled with this kernel, it really does get excellent scores in the benchmarks, and the day-to-day usage is fantastic as well. Geekbench also shows an improvement. We scored 958 on the single core. That's higher than the score for the Galaxy S5 here, and also higher than the stock Nexus 5 score that is recorded here at 860. The multi-core results showed 2,734. That's about 100 points less than the Galaxy S5, which, don't forget, is running the Snapdragon 801. And that's about 200 points more than the stock Nexus 5, so again, it's pretty impressive here. Okay, now moving on to battery life, I'm sure a lot of you are interested in this one. Now, in terms of my usage, I did things like YouTube, a lot of Google Chrome, WhatsApp, Facebook. I didn't really play any games, but my location settings were on. I used Google Now. Pretty much everything was syncing. I didn't turn anything off for this. The first day was completely Wi-Fi. You can see I had 38% left by the end of the day and a screen on time of 2 hours 56 minutes, so about 3 hours, but don't forget I had 38% left, so I'd probably predict that this could have got around 4 hours, maybe 4.5 hours, depending on what exactly you were doing. So that was 14 hours total time and 3 hours screen on time with 38% remaining. The next day was completely on 3G. Now, again, this lasted me the whole day without a problem, 13 hours, 13 minutes by the time I put it back on the charger. And this time I only had 24% left. And if we go over to the graph here, you can see the Wi-Fi bar is full, but I can promise you I did turn Wi-Fi off. It's just because I had Wi-Fi scanning in the background. Again, the usage was normal. I had the GPS on, location was high accuracy, all that good stuff, same sort of usage. And I had a screen on time here of 2 hours 32 minutes, so a little bit less, of course, than what we had on Wi-Fi, but I still had 24% left. You could probably get a screen on time of around 3 hours. Of course, this is all usage dependent. If you play a lot of games, you're going to get a lot less, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that on 3G. it lasted me the whole day. I didn't have to plug it in. So yeah, there you go guys. I've been really impressed with the kernel. It is what I'm going to stick with for now because it's very fast, it gives you great performance, and it also increases your battery life. So it's really a win-win situation, and there's just a ton of options to choose from as well. So yeah, if you like the look of it guys, give it a go. Peace out.